Have you stressed? Need to laugh off that disaster of a parent-teacher conference? Ready to indulge in those "I wish I could say that" moments? You're in luck, because you've just pressed play on the top-rated teacher comedy podcast on the planet. It's time for Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Here's your host, the teacher comedian himself, Devin Siebold.
Hey-o, Devin Siebold here, Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting those of you over on the Patreon, patreon.com/cryinginmycar. $2.99 a month. You get all of the videos a little bit early, some way early. I have some exclusive stand-up content I'm going to be posting. There was a bonus episode last week, and I've got my co-host in here, Mr. Greg, the Angry Texan Parrot, and we are going to be posting some additional content of a battle of historic proportions that is going down tomorrow on the Highlands Reserve Golf Course. Greg has been talking crap, and
dude, you've been talking trash.
It's okay, Greg. You don't have to get worked up, buddy. You've got anger issues. I understand. You're just coming off of a horrible sickness. You were very sick. And this is the thing. Greg lost 8 pounds. His belly's a little bit out of the way, and he thinks he's going to be the best golfer in the world. And true story, he's not. And he's going to fail miserably. Goes and
gets a whole new set of Maverick irons.
I have a set of Maverick irons, a Callaway golf bag. I had to up the clubs to match my game. I was out there shooting 7 under par, and people are like, "Wow, can you imagine what he would do on brand name clubs?" And so now I have them, and frankly, I think I'll enter the tour. But you, straight trash, and you've been talking smack. We have a wrestling promoter that's going to be joining us.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Keith Stewart, CEO and founder of Thunder Championship Wrestling, a former wrestler himself. And also one of the, historically, when he was younger, he was one of the best golfers in the state of Florida.
Well, under me. And so I'm pleased that we'll have him out there, because I think by hole 18, I will be physically removing the flag and beating you with it like an old episode of WWE Raw, where they have the stick, and people. I mean,
whatever. You're going to be putting for bogey. I'm going to come and give you an RKO out of nowhere.
I'm very concerned though with your mathematic abilities. I've seen your trends, the things that you do when I normally play with you on the course. You hit 7, 8 shots, you get on the green, you 4-putt, and then you're like, "Oh, par," and I'm like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's do that. But your definition of scratch golfer is scratching out all of your bogeys and double bogeys.
Usually,
that's why they call you.
To be honest, I usually don't keep score when I go. I let somebody else do it.
Well, that's good, because then you'd give up golf altogether if you actually did keep score. Yeah.
Hey, you're going to be so embarrassed when you come and humble yourself back on your own show.
Your
and
score,
bow down to the king here, who's going to destroy
your
you.
Score is going to look like how many Dogecoins you own. It is 7,435, and it's the only thing to the moon is your score. That's it. It's going to be terrible.
No, I'm actually way up on Dogecoin.
I know you are, and
dude, if it drops to 1 cent, I've still made a lot of money.
But you've made a lot of money now. You're just not selling because, frankly, you're just concerned that you know what you might do. I don't know if this is a good thing for you or not, but there's still time for you to sell the Dogecoin and then go get a set of golf clubs that might possibly give you a chance on the course.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well,
and my Nikes are hitting good. I have a new 5-wood from In-Store Credit after Dick's Sporting Goods ruined my driver.
Yeah.
Cosmetically, it still hits. I hit it today.
Some would say that was ruined too, but
whatever.
I mean, it looked broke to me still.
Dude, you're gonna hit. Dude, John Daly can hit 300-something yards, but he's been beat by guys that just consistently hit it out in the fairway.
Do you understand how far a retired teacher can hit the ball when they think about their students and the ones and what they've been wronged? I don't know.
Do you think you can out hit a manager who had a Mother's Day with 2 cooks in the kitchen and people that were waiting for their food for almost an hour and a half?
Okay,
sitting there telling me that I should go out in the middle of the lake and hold a cinder block. Think about how happy I am.
Both of us are going to be straight up Bobby Bouchering this ball.
Exactly.
You're going to sit up on they'll be like, he's talking to himself again. He'll be like, 86 onion rings. You're going to be very angry, and that's good. I want to see the anger.
Yeah.
But also, it's got to be controlled. You're not controlled anger. You're haphazard. You're all over the place.
Dude, I'm dark side of the force.
Numerous emails of people hating on you from the last episode, and so wait, and I think that it just goes to show that you're a loose cannon, both off the course and on the course.
Yeah, but in my defense, and to the listeners' defense, I'm sorry if I offended anybody over my police comments. One of the listeners called me liberal. That's kind of new, and I kind of like it a little bit. I'm not too liberal, but I'm also not too conservative. That's why I go back to Texas from time to time, so I can dip my feet in the conservative waters and replenish myself. But the fact is, I'm a statistic, pretty much a minority among most of my friends. I've been wronged by the police several times, and I got wronged by the police really bad down here. So I guess I'm very bitter about it, and
I've noticed,
and I'm working on it.
I've noticed,
and I'm working on it
as well.
Even my friends, and I have a nephew in Texas who's a police officer, and he's a goofy guy, and he treats my niece so good, and I love the guy, and I always hope he gets home safe. I've got a state trooper that I grew up with. I've also got
this Javier, apology is the equivalent of I have a black friend.
And also one of our listeners, Javier, he's a Border Patrol. Him and his wife both became Border Patrol agents.
He was on a bonus episode.
I didn't.
Or did we talk to him?
We talked about him.
Yeah.
Anyways, I apologize to anybody out there that offended over it. It's just I'm very bitter from the things that happened to me, and it's going to take time to heal from that. And that's really, I don't want to get into details or whatever, but it's just some people accidentally get on the wrong side of the law.
So
it sucks. But,
yeah. Right.
But I do really hope that, and that's the thing that I teach my kids too. You know, Caden and Jackson, I tell them, if you're ever, don't be afraid of the police. If you see red and blue lights behind you, always look at it as they're here to help. They're here to help you. Hey, why don't you have a tail light, or, hey, let me give you this ticket. It will help you remember to fix, not to speed.
In your particular case, on tomorrow, you will probably see them and know that they're here to help identify who hit the window out in the parking lot of the golf course that we're on. And it's you. Can you take care of two birds with one stone? I know you're supposed to technically go around and let people know that you hit their backyard window, but you could also bring your little card that the police gave you to identify yourself as a child predator in the area. You can two birds with one stone, Greg. I'm thinking you
were talking so much trash, and I cannot wait to walk over you. You were going to call me the bus driver when we get to that course. My name will be the bus driver because I'm going to take you to school.
Okay. We'll see. And we're gonna videotape this at patreon.com/video.
I love how you said videotape.
Yeah, we're gonna
put the tape cassette in there. By the way, we're going to have to talk about this also in Made in America.
Yeah, we will. We'll talk about, because golf is as American as it gets.
I think we should do a segment on just John Daly.
That's true. Yeah,
the mullet, everything, the red, white, and blue pants. I mean, what more American golfer can? Forget Tiger Woods. Right. John Daly is American.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely got problems. That's for sure. Now, I love the guy though. He's a big time golfer. A fan of my uncle. My uncle and him have worked together plenty of times because my uncle does golf courses and redesigns them and all that sorts of stuff. He gets to help him out with the grass. If it's green, he's probably been there. If it's brown, they're calling him. He's the guy. So anyways, now on to the teacher stuff, because we do need to talk a little bit about the teacher stuff and kind of what's going on in the teaching world. I went, this is such a sign of the time. So I went to Virginia and I was in Richmond performing at the Sandman Comedy Club. I had a few shows. All right. And I had some teachers in the crowd. The interesting thing that I'm noticing, man, and I don't know, what your thoughts are on this, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about it in the news when we get to an article on it. But young teachers, so I'm like, who in here is a teacher? And they'd like raise their hand, and I'd kind of talk to them sometimes during the show. One of them I talked to during the show, one of them I talked to after. The younger teachers that are like, 1 year in, 2 years in, they're already looking for other jobs. Like I asked, who's a teacher? And one girl raised her hand. She's like, I was like, you don't know? She's like, I quit. And I was like, how long were you teaching? She's like, 1 year. And I was like, what are you doing now? And she's like, well, I'm going into mortgage. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So, I mean, but I said, what did you go to school for? She's like, teaching. I was like, and you're just, one and done? She's like, yep, absolutely not. I was like, interesting. I mean, I wonder sometimes, some of these kids are giving away their entire 4-year, what do you, and this kind of goes not only with teaching, but to a worldwide problem that we're having with these young kids. So I have a question for you, and then I'll lead into the question that I'm going to give you. The big question. What did you go to school for in college?
Theater and film.
Okay, so you did that.
Baseball.
You did that for a little bit. You kind of still off and on try your hand at it.
It was you that helped me transfer my stage persona over to comedy. You were the guy that bridged that for Mike Lee and I.
Right, and hopefully I'll get you out of golf and into tennis, something you might be good at.
Shut up.
But this is the thing, man. So you went to school, you did it for a little bit, you got something out of it. But there's a lot of these students that, go to school. A lot of my friends have graduated and they get these majors in like retail management and hospitality. And then they go into something completely different and they're left with $80,000 in debt and student loans. We have a problem where these students, you're literally holding an $80,000 gun to a child's head and saying, choose the rest of your life now. And they haven't worked in these professions. They haven't experienced them. And I think especially with teaching, these kids are getting out of college. They're then going into teaching and going, holy crap, this is not what I thought it was. We didn't prepare them right. The college didn't, give them the hands-on experience that they should have had. How do we alleviate that? How do we get these kids to make better decisions? Do we have them work in the field first?
Did you read you did during your teacher talk yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
I said it. Backup trade.
Yeah, backup trades. They should
honestly,
have trades too.
I think that really should be hit on in high school. They should say, hey, I know you want to go to school and be a doctor, or you're going to go to school to be a nurse. You're going to go do finance, or you want to go for marine biology. I remember seeing a lot of that when I was in college. Like, I'm going to be a marine biologist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to be like on some tropical island counting starfish and stuff or whatever. I don't know. Some people do. My buddy's daughter, she is one. But there's so many degrees out there. I've got so many friends, you do too, that have these degrees that they never going to use.
Now,
and it's sad, but at least they went out and did it. And because I guess because to be a pharmaceutical rep, all you have to have is a bachelor's degree. It doesn't say what, and you make about $100,000 a year. Well,
it depends on what career you have, but sometimes all you need is a 4-year degree in general.
Right.
They just want to know that you did something. Now, I don't know if I agree with that.
I say everybody should have some kind of a trade. Like, I'm pretty decent at drywall.
Yeah.
If push come to shove and everything, the Great Depression hits again or whatever, and like the only job I could find, there's no restaurant job. Thank God I was an actor, so I learned to wait tables. A lot of people aren't good at waiting tables or working in restaurants or working with people.
Mm-hmm.
So they do construction, or they do, hospitality management, or work at a hotel, or whatever.
Yeah.
But everybody's got to have a backup.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, there's a lot of people out there with minors that, like Mike Lee has a minor in communications.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know, that's kind of what he fell into now, is because he's a radio guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I'm trying to get at, is how do we get them to make decisions prior to engaging in this particular, you know, in a degree? I think there should be some sort of, like, we have internships, but internships come at the end. Like, I did an internship as a teacher my 4th year of being in school for being a teacher. You know, communications people, they go 3-4 years and then they put them there. Doctors go 7 years in school and then they put them in there. And psychologists go, you know, 6 years and then they put them in there. Shouldn't we look at maybe having like a pre-intern program where maybe there's like a school where you can just do hands-on right away? Like day one, you're in a classroom hands-on as a teacher, and they're going, here's how it's going to work. Day one, you're in a radio studio, and they go, here's what's going to happen. And I know that you say, well, they don't have any training. That's the whole thing of it.
On the job training.
On the job training in the beginning, just a little taste of it. Because that's the thing, man. Sometimes, I mean,
you're in a psychiatrist's office and you're just sitting there and like that guy on the couch over there, listen to his crap.
Can you imagine paying for a dinner that you haven't ate yet?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's just crazy. But you go to a restaurant and they're like, no, we're not going to let you see the menu. And you know, can I sample? No. We would like $70 right now, and then we're going to bring you out your meal. I mean, that's kind of like exactly what we're doing with college, is we're charging them all this money and then giving them the experience after, and they're going, well, that was horrible. And then I want a refund. No, sorry. Well, let me declare bankruptcy. Doesn't apply to student loans, you know, and you're screwed for the rest of your life. There's literally 80-year-old women and men out there that are paying on student loans from the 70s and 80s that they got at these schools that they can never pay down. I mean, it's just, it blows my mind. I literally have a letter today in the mail from my student loan that I have. I don't know why. I don't know what it's about. I know that they don't start payments again until September, but they're probably asking me, hey, you sure you don't want to pay some of this down? But this is the crazy thing. I borrowed $15,000 from that student loan. The other ones I paid off. I actually had other ones. They're done. I have one left. I borrowed 15 grand. I've been paying on it for 14 years, give or take. I did have
and
like
you
a
owe
forbearance.
14 now.
I owe 18.
How?
It hasn't been paid down because interest, man. Interest, they just keep adding it up.
That's the only thing. See, some call me liberal. I still feel I'm more conservative and I am Republican, but that's the one thing when everybody says, oh, they should pay. No, I don't think student debt should just be wiped away. Okay.
I don't think it should be wiped away.
Yeah,
but
you took out a loan that is part of society. You should have to pay it back. But that interest, take that damn interest out.
Yeah.
Okay. You're paying back a loan that the government, if the government wants you to have an education, if everybody is all on about this, oh, hey, we're going to give grants, and we're going to give this, and we're going to give that, then it should be, okay, we'll let you take this loan, but you have to pay it back. The government shouldn't have to make money on something that they're trying to promote.
I think it should be.
I don't think it's fair.
I think it should be 10 years, same as cash. That would be my philosophy.
Yeah.
If I would say 10 years, same as cash. And it does two things. First off, it gives you 10 years to pay it off just at regular rate. You're seeing it actually go down. You're seeing progress. At the end of those 10 years, we start adding insurance. But the good news is that you've had 10 years of paying it off. So you are having interest added onto a much smaller amount than the entire 15, 20, 40, 100 grand you borrowed. Now you've got it down to where we can start adding, interest, and it's not making it to where you're not paying down the principal. You're actually paying down the principal and paying a little bit of interest, but you had 10 years.
Or
you had 10 years to get your life together, and get it all together.
What if there's a flat tax for it? Like a flat, like say you took out a $15,000 loan. They're like, all right, well, all loans, no matter how big they are, how small, $2,000.
Yeah. You know what else I
don't think that would be a bad deal.
You know what else I think would kind of work? And I don't know what people's opinions are on this. I'd love to hear them. So if you want, you can head over to YouTube, my YouTube, Devin Siebold. I have this Crying in My Car episode posted. I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you've gotten this far and you're listening, tell me your opinion. Tell me your opinion, because it's a long episode. People, we're 20 minutes in. So here's the thing. I have to ask this. What about a working loan? And what I mean by that, let me tell you exactly what this is. So I have in the past gone through PayPal Working Capital. And PayPal Working Capital is where they give you money. They'll give you like $5,000. What they do is then they take 30% of every single sale that you have through PayPal until that $5,000 is paid off. So every time you make a sale, they take 30% and it's paying it off by itself. I'm getting 70% of the sales. What I'm suggesting is that we have a kind of working student loan where you don't pay any interest, as long as they're able to take 10% directly out of your paycheck every single time. You never miss the money because you never received it. You don't have any danger of defaulting. You don't have any danger of being behind. If you maintain a job, you could have forgiveness. If you maintain a job for 10 years and all the paychecks have continuously came out and stuff like that, and
you get rewarded.
You get rewarded. Yeah, there could be something like that where you have like, you're making X number of dollars. So if you're making more, let's say you're making, $10,000 a paycheck. Well, 10% of that is $1,000. Now they're able to take more. But if you're making less, you only make $500 a paycheck. They're only taking $50, and that's much smaller. They're not going to be able to, hurt you as bad.
And if your credit score continues to go up in that 10 years, it shows that you're being financially responsible and everything. Another bonus. Yeah, there should be incentives.
But it needs to be through the employers, because sometimes, I don't know. We do have financial ways that you can actually pay it back based on how much you make. But, sometimes we don't get paychecks. Sometimes things happen and you fall behind. You might be out sick for a week. Well, you're not penalized, and they go, "Where's our money?" They just go, "Oh, you didn't get paid that week? Okay, we're going to take it out of the next one. We'll take the 10% out of the next one. That's fine." It's not, "Where's our money? Where's our money? Where's our money?" It's, "Oh, you were down and out. Greg, you were sick for 3 days. Jesus, you don't owe us that money for those 3 days you didn't work." It's just the way it'll work. And they don't have any way to do that with the current system. You still owe them outside cash.
Yeah, I missed my day of solid overtime. Sick as I was last week. Jeez,
that stinks. All right, I think it is just about time for us to go into the teachers in the news.
From classrooms to chaos, we searched high and low for the craziest teacher stories this week. Here are your teachers in the news.
All right. Teachers in the news, thank you guys so much again for supporting the podcast. You can head over to Patreon, buy a full year subscription. I'm doing exclusive videos for people. I have not done the ones for this month yet. So if you subscribed and you paid the full month ahead of time, it's like $30. I mean, not full month, full year ahead of time. I go ahead and do a free cameo style video where I'll, say thank you and personalize it, say your name. If you message me, I'll do the school, give a little shout out. It's free, comes with the Patreon subscription. So you get all the bonus stuff and that. Those of you that have subscribed recently, you will also get that as well. I just have not gotten to it yet because I kind of like to knock them all out at once, and people just started subscribing. By the way, I do want to sit back and give a quick thank you to Chris, our new Patreon member, Taylor, a new Patreon member, Angela, new Patreon member. Let's see here, Casey, shout out to you, and Wendy, Chelsea, Dorothy, you guys are killing it. Lou, doing great. I thank you so much for that. Stephanie, Caitlin, James, Ashley, Jamie, Valerie, going back all the way to March. So thanks again. If I haven't given you a shout out, there it is. And I do want to thank you for supporting the Crying in My Car podcast.
I thought you were giving the 2021 hurricane season names.
It did kind of sound like it.
Hold up, man. He's almost to the end of the alphabet.
So here's a one that kind of makes you wonder sometimes. A former teacher donated to Jackson Catholic Schools to help attract and retain teachers. Now, this teacher died 2019, 2 years ago. And there is apparently a fund to help attract and retain teachers at all 4 of these Catholic schools. Now, this person was, her name's Donna Ames. So she was a lifetime Jackson Catholic Schools educator, graduated in 1958 from the St. Mary's Star of Sea School, and apparently went to community college and then Michigan State University. Now, the good news is she became an educator is known for her refined disposition and high standards when it came to dress code conduct and personal standards with the students, and retired in 1997. Apparently had worked from 1968 when it opened till 1997, so almost 30 years. She died in 2019 at age 78 and decided to donate to the schools to help retain the teachers. Now, here's the thing. I think her donation is good enough to attract me to that school because she worked for 30 years at this school. Greg, she donated $1.1 million to the schools. If you are a retired teacher and you have $1.1 million, I'm interested in where you taught.
Yeah.
You know? So I think just the fact that she donated that much money and had it,
she was like a Mary Poppins for a rich family. That's the first thing that came to mind. Like, oh, that's how she made it.
That might have been the case. Maybe she did some personal work after, and you know, had some inheritance. You never know where this money came from, but it just opened my eyes because I was like, wow, I wonder, you know, if she was just really good. It says she taught business and finance. Maybe she had just some, you know, some side investments. And
that's what I'm thinking. She's probably like a JBL or something.
But I'd like to know, you know, so apparently this Catholic school, to me, just the headline alone, I'm like, where do I apply?
but I did like the idea of like this rich lady walking around just singing "Spoons Full of Sugar," makes a mess and go down.
It does sound good, doesn't it? All right, next one. A Perry County teacher won live with Kelly and Ryan's top search for the top 2021 teacher. Her name is Krista Pontius, an ag teacher at Greenwood High School in Pennsylvania, and she responded, yay. Great. Says apparently she took home $10,000 for herself, another 10 grand for the school. Okay, so I've talked about this before. Thank you, Kelly and Ryan, for giving some cash to the damn teacher. You know, too often these people go on these talk shows and they're like, oh, we love you're an amazing teacher, you're doing so good, we're giving $5 grand to your school. And it's like, thanks. I mean,
the school goes, athletic club, here you go.
Exactly. Or it's absorbed immediately into debt that they already have, or put into some computer lab that's never used, and then computers aren't maintained. It's gone in a year. So I'm excited that she got 10 grand for herself. So congratulations, Krista. Use that money wisely. I mean, it's not often you're able to double your annual paycheck. Anyways.
Wow.
It's as a teacher, it's not anything against Krista, it's just the profession.
She's like, thanks for the 10 grand. Now I can make up for my losses from the COVID virus.
Maybe you should send her a message and ask her if she'll buy you some clubs so you stand a chance tomorrow. Okay. Going on, this teacher in Washington Park created a community garden with $2,000 and countless hours of her own time and her own money. Apparently, it is a food desert. I don't know what that means, but apparently there's a difficult time getting food in this particular area. She started the Tiny Children's Garden, a group of third graders that sent letters to the mayors describing what they'd like to see. And apparently, oh, wait. Here's where they describe what a food desert is. The village has a high number of households without vehicles or nearby access to a grocery store. 23% of households in this area do not have a vehicle and live more than a mile from a grocery store, so it qualifies as a food desert according to federal government definitions. I didn't even know that was a thing. So this garden is meant to address the problem. $1,700 out of her own pocket. Apparently, a donated plot of land with broken down cars and thick brush with weeds taller than her was near the elementary school. They grabbed it up. They have then since planted a ton of gardens, and they are now awaiting their first harvest. So that is pretty cool that they're able to do that.
That's pretty awesome. There's going to be a garden up at Highlands Reserve where I'm going to bury you in it.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, you know, it'll probably be near the the game desert where there's not within a mile of, you can't hit within a mile. I don't know. I don't have
really stretched.
I was
I
was scrolling through the pictures and I was like, I'm trying to write a joke, but I know, but it looks good. Her guard looks great. And, it's a pretty cool little deal. Hopefully there's the community gets behind that. You always want to see it maintained.
Yeah, I got it for you. There's going to be a food desert between my golf ball and yours.
There you go. That works.
There you go. Which is, I don't care how far you drive it, dude. Consistency is the key, son.
Yeah.
Consistency.
We'll see. All right, next one. A North Carolina Department of Public School is calling for more teachers to come to the state. They are working out a new agreement to try to get teachers to come teach. Guess what, though? Apparently, teachers have said, do you realize the reason people aren't coming here is North Carolina's average teacher pay is $10,000 less than the average national pay. And so a lot of people are fleeing to other states like Georgia and Virginia to get more money. The governor made a proposal to increase pay 10%, and the measure has not yet passed. Here in the state of Florida, our governor, Ron DeSantis, said that he was giving $1,000 bonus to teachers. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Yeah, he came back on the other day and said he is not giving him to teachers. He's instead giving it to firefighters and policemen, first responders. He said who don't work from Zoom. What a shot. If I could kick that man. Anyways, so yeah, it's
please send all your hate mail.
He literally dangles $1,000 in front of the Florida teachers and then says, oh, by the way, I'm not giving it to you, I'm giving it to firemen, because they I don't mind if you give it to firemen. I don't mind if you give it to police, but to sit here and compare or pit one career against the other in the public eye is a horrible way to lead. You say, I'm thankful for the teachers. I'm thankful for the firemen and police. I've decided instead to give 500 to the teachers and 500 to the policemen and firemen and divide that up so we can more evenly distribute, not one or the other. And by the way, firemen aren't on Zoom. Teachers. Yeah. It's so frustrating. But anyways, in North Carolina, they had this, apparently, their teacher shortage is happening, and it's because they're not paying them enough. And that's the thing. A lot of these jobs are not paying people enough. And then we go, why am I not getting any? It's that meme with the restaurant or whatever driving down the road on the bicycle. I can't find workers. And then they shove into the spoke $7.25 an hour, work every single weekend, every night till 12. And they're like, where are my employees? It's verbally abusive. I mean, what can you can't do much with that. Last one. I say
this is going to make me mad. Isn't it?
No, it will not make you mad. I don't even know how to say this. I'm just going to say it. A New York City teacher was apparently suspended because during the Zoom with their class, apparently they took time out to suck the nipple of an unidentified topless male and then resumed teaching. She apparently thought her camera was off, or somebody who was in that particular room with her walked over, and she decided to, in front of the class, suck their nipple. And students recorded the incident, and the video spread like wildfire on social media.
Kids are sitting there going,
and let me tell you right now, this last line is where New York consistently is effed up. They are wrong for doing this.
Wait,
she
Florida?
was.
Florida's
this is New York.
Okay.
We've seen so many. I talked about it in my teacher live last night. If you follow me on Facebook, those teacher lives, sometimes I get insightful. I was insightful. New York keeps doing this crap, and it needs to stop. This teacher was not fired. This teacher was not laid off, as they would be in any other state, because their unions are so strong. I love the union to death, but this teacher was reassigned by the Department of Education will be continuing on the teacher payroll, is not teaching, so they probably gave them a desk job or put them into a library somewhere where they just sit there and collects, get this, their $106,000 salary. You're paying them $106,000 to now no longer teach, and they messed up. And now you have to find a new teacher to replace them. And you wonder why the budget's so high. And it's just so frustrating, you know, because this is it. The districts would rather reassign them than battle the unions in court because they know it's going to cost them more money. You know, what did she violate by sucking this man's nipple? You know, is it really that bad? This could drag on for months, years in the court system and cost them way more money.
An accident.
So they take this teacher and they place them at a desk job elsewhere and continue to pay them $106,000 a year while they're no longer contributing to education. They're no longer contributing to their classroom. They're not doing anything of relevant note. They are just simply eating your tax dollars. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I get that unions need to protect the teachers, but this just seems, we've talked over and over about these holding cells, these holding patterns for these teachers that violate the rules and are acting out of order. If this person really did this, give them a little, you know, trial by peers, you know, what happened, reprimand them, either get them back into the classroom or move them out. I mean, I don't know that, I honestly don't know that that's a fireable offense. I mean, it's a personal thing. I mean,
I'm sorry, but I don't think that the children, like, what if some dude in the classroom, some kid was looking over at Samantha or whatever and like, hey, what's up, girl?
No, I don't think that.
You know, I just, that teacher needs to be fired. I don't understand
fired or retrained. I mean, because
how
I don't
is it not like some kind of, I wouldn't say lascivious.
It's I hate to say this, but it was a sexual thing that was performed in their own home, and they were under the guise that they were not on the camera.
Definitely PG-13.
It should not have happened during the class. You know, that's a terrible thing for the kids to see. But I don't know that it's something that you definitely need to ruin somebody's life and pull their entire, you know, certificate from education. They might have been a fantastic teacher. If they're making $106,000, they've probably been in the game for a while. You know, I mean, I hate to deprive the students of a great teacher because of their own personal in-home sexual preferences.
But they made a decision.
They did, and they should pay for that. But maybe pay for it in the realm of, you know, taking 2 weeks unpaid leave during that time. They have to go to, you know, speak to a counselor, you know, and sensitivity training. There's stuff there that I think we can alleviate without having to.
Maybe an apology to the parents and those kids.
Right. I mean, but I've heard teachers
where accountability is actually taught. You know, hey, I made a mistake, students. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like don't do that.
So, yeah, but I think of, okay, so I put myself in a position. If I were in school and I was online and I was a student and that particular incident happened, I would go, whoa, that's crazy. And then they go, we're firing them or we're moving them. They're no longer your teacher. I would kind of, if they were a good teacher, I would say, you know, I kind of want them back. You know, I didn't really, you know, maybe there's students that were harmed by it mentally. Maybe you have some counseling available to them that the teacher pays for. I don't know how you could do this, but I just don't know. I'll tell you right now, putting them into a holding pattern, paying them, and then having another teacher come in, that's not a good thing. Yeah, but, you know, make some definitive action. They need to define the actions and explore things other than you know, it seems like in the teaching world, it's either a you're fired, you're not. You're fired, you're not mentality that we consistently have. Right. I think there needs to be other options available, and rather than the you're fired, you're not. That's just me.
I mean, it's such a crime at the same time, but it's going to be a worse crime tomorrow whenever I beat you that bad.
It will.
It's going to be a felony. It's worth it.
It will. Are we putting anything on this?
I don't know. Ask the listeners. I wonder.
I know you. I know that you. Just like your shot, you're broke. But I'm
buying a house. Right
I know
now,
that's what I'm saying. You're buying a house, so your house broke for now because you got a lot of money going into that. So money's off the table. I'm not going to make you pay me.
I will say this, man. It's sad to say, but My girl makes way more than I do.
Can we do this? If I win, we go on to Crying in My Car on YouTube and you suck my nipple. I'm just kidding. No, we don't do that. Let's not do that because that would be embarrassing for both of us. So what can we do? What can you? Okay. All right. I got it. So we're doing video now. All right. I have to pick the outfit that you wear. You pick the outfit that I wear. It can be anything, clown suit. It can be the Gandalf wig. It can be drag, whatever you want to do. We pick what the other person wears during a full episode of Crying in My Car. The loser is the one that has to wear it.
All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll, so next,
you can wear an extra large, right?
Next particular episode. Yeah. Next particular episode, you're going to be tuning in on YouTube and you'll get to see by whatever we bring up, who won, who lost. And it's going to be apparent.
Man, I got so much. I need to go and go through my closet. I got a Dallas Cowboy jersey, Pantera concert shirt.
See, you're being too nice.
Yeah.
I myself was wondering if they still sell the old dolphin outfit at SeaWorld for children. Because I was like, could I dress him up as a dolphin? I don't know. I'm going all out. I'm going to figure it out. But when I win, you will be forced to wear whatever I advise you on. Mm-hmm.
So whatever we make the other person dress in.
Whatever we want. It can be as humiliating as humanly possible.
Angelina, I may have to borrow clothes.
That's fine. I'm here for it. I look great in drag. I've done it before. I was at a summer camp and we had a competition. I did not win. There was a guy named Blake and I will never forget him. Mainly because I was like, wow, he's attractive as a girl. So it's just a weird thing. Anyways, this has gone off the deep end here at the end of the show.
The deep end is going to be the ball dropping in the cup over and over. And you're going to be like, oh, my God, I'm getting my butt kicked so bad.
Got it. Check me out. I'll be in Cocoa Beach this particular weekend. Saturday, I'll be performing at Gregory's Upstairs Comedy Club in Cocoa Beach. June 5th, I have a show in Leesburg, Florida. I've also picked up a few little small shows here and there. Myself and Adam Ferrara are working on some additional dates, and I will post those as they go live. Do not forget, May 21st is the brand new Teacher Zoom comedy show. Tickets are live on my page right now on Facebook. And also, you can find merch, devincomedy.com, new teacher shirts. I only have a few left. If that is, you're wanting that, I'm out of 2XL, might be able to reorder. I did put in an email. They have not responded yet, but working on that. Greg, what do you got coming up?
We are hiring. If there's anybody in Florida that's looking for a cooking job, come see me so that I can start being fully staffed and get back out on the road.
Normally, I would say that's a ridiculous thing to say on a teacher podcast. But lately, there's a lot of teachers that may go, oh, yeah, I need to
listen.
I need some work.
If you know kids in your classroom, to get them a good summer job, restaurants are hiring right now. And I need people so that I can start getting out and doing comedy again. I swear, I'm just doing stand up at tables at this point. It's getting ridiculous.
No wonder they're walking out of your restaurant. Okay, all right. See you on the golf course tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to Crying in My Car podcast for teachers. We'll see you back here next week.
Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast 5 stars. Submit all your awesome teacher stories to cryinginmycar@gmail.com and check out Devin on tour. Info and merch can be found at devincomedy.com. Support the podcast on patreon.com/cryinginmycar and get exclusive weekly bonus episodes. And tune in every week for more hilarious stress relief for teachers right here on Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.